thing about Kilimanjaro is that you start at around 1,100 meters and you go all the way up to nearly 6,000 meters. So it's a huge altitude gain. And the very unique part is that you're going to cross a lot of different zones. So you start off kind of in a jungle, cloud forest environment and trek up through there. And then at some point you go into like kind of a moon landscape and into the very high altitude areas, and then at the top you have glaciers. So it's pretty crazy to see how many different landscapes you're passing on this trek. This is the mass tent where you eat your lunch, breakfast, and dinner. I have some pictures from the dinner later because all the food is brought up by the porters. So Kilimanjaro you could do on your own as well if you wanted to, but you need to have a guide. It's not allowed to go without a guide, so you can't just go completely on your own. And back in the days, I was not really a hardcore trekker yet. So for us, it was kind of normal to take the guided approach, just as everyone else. And you pay a certain amount of money. It's quite a bit of money, but for that, you have porters that carry all your food. They carry these tents. So you have a bit of luxury there. And that was the first camp. It's called the Big Tree Camp. You can imagine why that is. The next day we kind of left that cloud forest zone and walked into the first open area. And from there we could actually see Kilimanjaro for the first time. So that's him here. One huge mountain in the middle of the African plains. Everything else around him is pretty much flat. It's a very unique situation, because normally when you have like a 6,000 meter mountain, it would be surrounded by other mountains. That's me lying there with my little safari hat, doing a little break. Because the trek itself takes around 7 days. So it's 5 days to go to the top and then 2 days to come down again. Oh, sorry. Not mean to zoom in here. Yeah, not so much snow anymore, especially on the top you have a few glaciers, and back 8 years ago the glaciers were still pretty big. But I've seen a few more recent videos, and in those the glaciers are really, they're about to disappear. There was one climbing group that went there like 10 years ago and now, and they did a comparison, and yeah, very soon all these glaciers will be completely gone on Kilimanjaro, which is kind of a shame. That was our first campsite on over the clouds. This picture actually looks like an old kind of Polaroid picture or something, you know. It's such a like bad quality, but I kind of like it anyway. Sunrise or sunset, I can't really exactly remember which one it was there. And then in the evenings you gather around in the tent and you eat. So this is one of the dinners, some sort of spinachy thing, and one thing that they had a lot was potatoes and corn. So we had a lot of anything potato based and anything corn based, like popcorn or corn soup. They would just do like this huge amount of food for us to share, and then you can see like the sauces as well. This is butter chicken, and it was really tasty, by the way. It was really good. So they had like one proper cook and a few cooking helpers or assistants who were constantly taking care of the food all the time, and all the food is included in the price, by the way. Yeah, I can. That's me in the morning with my safari hat, with my Kilimanjaro hat. I was actually using this one on my recent video about Christmas that I just uploaded to my YouTube channel. It's been lying here for a long time, but it's still a cool hat. Yeah, this was really cool. They actually they were doing like a Kilimanjaro dance to kind of introduce all the porters and all the cook and everyone in the crew pretty much. And you can imagine you have around per tourist going up, you have around 3 local guys roughly, so it's like a 3-to-1 ratio. And on top of the money that you pay for the climb, you also pay like between 10 and 15% tips, and they're celebrating. So this is when we also kind of gave them the tip, and then they were kind of celebrating it and dancing and singing. It was really cool. That's like halfway already. Another little extra hike that you can do, climbing up to that kind of peak there. We've done that, of course, because we were quite a fit group. At some point, our guides had to slow us down a little bit, saying, "Come on, guys, this one, we need a little break." And I was like, "Okay, if you need a break, that's fine." And this is the landscape that kind of starts to look a bit like on the moon, completely different to the start of the hike when we walked through the forest. And now we saw these very specific kind of trees. You will see a bunch of pictures of them. If you Google like Kilimanjaro tree, you will find the exact name. There's like a Latin name for it. But this tree only grows on Kilimanjaro. I think. That's my information at least. So it's a very unique tree to the area. Yeah, that's Moritz, one of the guys. And I really like this shot because you can see one of the cliff walls from Kilimanjaro very nicely in the background. Kind of cool. More of these trees. At this point I was actually feeling a bit unwell. I think I had too much corn-based dishes because it was really a lot. It was like in the morning you get a corn soup, then you get, I don't know, they put corn everywhere. And you get popcorn for dessert. It was a bit too much corn for me. Maybe it was always could also be that I struggle a bit with the altitude, because this is already around 4,800 meters. So you're constantly in an area where you can get altitude sick. And I actually got altitude sick at the very top of the mountain. I will tell you that later. Yeah, we're kind of walking very close, but kind of circling the summit. We have to go up on the other side. And you always climb high and then you go down a bit to sleep. That helps for the acclimatization. That was another uphill part. The next camp here with another nice view on Kilimanjaro. So from when you're that close, it doesn't really look like Kilimanjaro anymore, right? It looks just like any mountain, because you don't have that iconic view anymore that you have from far away. But you pretty much always have the summit inside already during the campsites. It's Nelson again, the other guide. And here you can actually see the porters. They're carrying everything up, and all of them per person they carry up to like 40 kilos. You also have to imagine it's not just the tents and the equipment and the food, it's also the water. There are not so many water sources, and often they have to just walk like 2 hours to get water for all the tourists pretty much. And this is the last camp here already in the background. You can see this is the base camp. So from there you get to the summit, and we were walking up during the daylight for a briefing. I will show you that in a video now actually. And they just wanted us to kind of walk the way in daylight, because in the night we would walk that to get to the summit, and then it's all pitch black dark. So let me just get to the right spot. And here you kind of see the route as well. So I was doing the Lemosho route. You have 5 different routes. There's one route called the Coca-Cola route. It's the fastest one, but it's also the most dangerous one in terms of getting altitude sick, because you're getting to the summit in the fastest way. And now you can kind of see this was the first part here in the forest. Then you climb up. This is like the moon-looking landscape. And now when I said that we're kind of circling around the summit, that was around this stage. And now we're here and at the camp 8. This is the base camp. And from there, this is where we're going to see the video now. Karanga, after that, that's here it is. And King William was so funny. I'm just gonna show you that. He's gonna explain us what we need.
Okay, when you get in the mess tent, you'll find their porridge in the mess tent, biscuits,
Popcorn!
Some stuffs like pepcorns,
Pepcorn!
tea, coffee, Milo, only that. We don't give you much because...
Could you hear the excitement in the voice of my friend? He was like, popcorn. We were also sick of it, man.
If you eat much, you go to the summit, everything will come out. Okay. So we give you just light things, light food, like porridge.
Not popcorn.
Okay, have that, and then...
Now we're gonna see the flying tent, guys.
Around 12.
I
to
captured a
start
flying
moving.
tent. Look at that. It was just flying away. Yeah, stuff like that happens. It was not our tent. So this is Barufu camp at 4,550 meters. And that's pretty much the base camp. I have a picture of the flying tent as well. That was so funny. I guess they just put it up and didn't put anything inside. So it was just flying away. Yeah, and now, so as I said, you start hiking in the night. And this is already at Stellar Point. And Stellar Point is really close to the summit. And that's where I actually got, well, not there, but a bit after that, I really got the first problems with the altitude sickness. And one of my friends had the same problem as well. So there's like 4 different signs for altitude sickness, and the guides are constantly checking you, and if they pretty much make a call, so they could take you off the mountain if it's too bad. So I had one of the 4 signs, which is feeling hard to describe, but it's pretty much like your body is completely like reacting as if you would be drunk, so you can't walk a straight line anymore. Completely. I would always, like, I would walk 2-3 feet and then I would have to kind of sit down because I would fall over otherwise. But my mind was completely clear, so it's not like being drunk where your mind is also completely messed up. So here your mind is completely clear, but your body is just lacking the oxygen, because at this altitude, around 6,000, nearly 6,000 meters, you only have 50% of the oxygen. Every step will take twice as much effort. And then there's a bunch of other signs. So, for instance, vomiting, having kind of like a blue tongue, for instance, and massive headaches. So luckily I was not vomiting, I didn't have a blue tongue, and I did not have any headache at all. Like, I actually felt really good. And I just needed some breaks. So the guide decided that I can come with them to the summit, because it was literally, I don't know, 100 meters before we reached the summit. So it was really close. And I just needed to take like 2 breaks in between, and then I made it. And at the summit, everything was good again, like, because I had like a longer break there, and everything was completely fine. But you really have to be careful if you have more than just one sign and you feel really unwell as well. You should not push yourself, because it can result in some pretty serious permanent brain damage if you would do that, if you would completely ignore all the signs. So I had like, not sure how to describe it, maybe like a super light altitude sickness. Luckily it was not that bad, and I trusted my guides because they're in this situation many times, and they sent down many people, and they judged that it should be okay. Yeah, now we made it to the summit here, our little group picture. This is the old sign, still it got replaced now, I think. 5,895 meters. A bunch of stickers. I should put in a little Chris on tour sticker next time. Maybe I should really do that for the next trip. Yeah, and yeah. As you can see, I look pretty okay as well. It's not like I'm like totally KO'd. Just had to take a small rest. Yeah, and then on the way down you have a nice views on the like nearby peaks. There's 3 different peaks on Kilimanjaro. We went to Uhuru, which is the highest. Yeah, that's on the way down already again, and afterwards you finally are able to drink beer, because you shouldn't really drink too much beer when you're climbing the mountain. And there's a Kilimanjaro beer, even premium lager. This is not English in the top, yeah, but it's a Kilimanjaro beer. And we had a little bit of a ceremony there. They were giving out us our certificates. Still have mine lying around somewhere here, but this is pretty much how it looks. Uhuru Peak, Stellar Point, this is the point that I was mentioning. It's just 150 meters below Uhuru Peak. Yeah, and you get this little, oh, it was 28, oh, that's cute. You get this little certification. And yeah, that's the trip to Kilimanjaro.